So we have with us Mr. Virendra Sandhu, who is our project partner, and he has really been a pillar in this whole effort of resurrecting heritage rice variety. Tilak Chandan, we have sown Tilak Chandan at his farm, and in fact, he was the person who found this heritage seed for us. So let us begin with the story from the beginning about Tilak Chandan, how you found the seed and how we did the whole thing.
Oh, yes. So we used to cultivate Tilak Chandan many, many years ago. We have been cultivating it for ourselves and to sell also. But over a period of time, when new hybrid basmati varieties came in, this became extinct. So we used to grow it for ourselves, and somehow we also lost seed. And then when this project came up and Ma'am Tarana asked for the seed of Tilak Chandan, then we found it with one of my friends and requested him to give it to me. This is how we got the seed. And then when we got it, we started the project of growing Tilak Chandan. Then it was in May that we had sown the seed in the nursery. And in May itself, in the last week of May, we transplanted it. This grew well.
Yes, it did very well.
And
But took a very long time.
Took a very long time. This variety takes almost 5.5 to 6 months to mature. And then it grew well and matured, and we harvested in the last week of November. Kept it for a few days for maturing with the stalk, and then threshed it manually. That was in the last of November or the first week of December. And we got the new harvest of Tilak Chandan.
So that was a really amazing experience because, first of all, I had no idea about growing rice or sowing rice or anything. So it was a wonderful experience for me. But then I also realized that how tough it was to grow this variety. Not that I know much about hybrid variety, but I do know that Tilak Chandan was really very, very tall.
Yes.
And when we had a spell of bad weather, this is 2020.
Yes.
And we were doing all this in the middle of COVID and lockdown, and that made it very tough for us to manage. But anyway, Mr. Sandhu was there with us every bit of the way. And the important thing was that I came to realize why this was discontinued. So can you just speak about why this heritage variety, which is a highly aromatic variety,
Yes.
why it was discontinued, especially at your farms and in Rampur in general?
In general. Two reasons for this being discontinued are, first of all, is the height of the plant, which is, it grows very tall, and in bad weather it lodges. So, which is a deterrent to the yield in particular, and difficult to harvest. And again, with the attack of rodents, much of the crop is spoiled when it falls down. So second is a very long period for its maturation. It takes 5.5 to 6 months for the full crop to grow, whereas other crops, other hybrid basmati varieties, takes about 3.5 months to 4 months to mature. And other coarse varieties also take 4.5 months at the most. But this particular variety takes too long to mature. So, because in this way, the farmer loses one crop either before it or after it. So that is the reason it was discontinued. People shifted to more high yielding varieties and varieties with a short duration to mature. And yes, another factor was low yield.
Oh, no yield.
Low yield. Because this being a very tall plant, but even then the yields are very less. And the grain is also small. So the grain being small and say that's the reason it yields so less. So when we compare it with hybrid varieties, the yield is just 1/3 of what we get in other basmati varieties.
So we had a harvest of 90 kg.
90 kg.
And how much did we end up getting? The
rice was 40 kg and it was quarter of an acre.
It was quarter of an acre. So that's really very, and of course for the farmer it's very tough to have such a unless he's paid a very high amount for this variety, and which I don't think the market allows.
Yes. Because there are very few buyers now, very few people who know about Tilak Chandan and who can give up price which will be affordable to the farmer. Yes, it yields very less, and so it doesn't match up to the other paddy crops.
Right. So our interest in Tilak Chandan is because the old foods and all the dishes, like you had khichdi and you have kheer, was made from Tilak Chandan because of the aroma, which when we actually made it after harvest, it was so nice. It was very, very nice.
So, in fact, this grain which looks too short, after cooking it elongates to a very reasonably good size. Because basmatis are, as it is, long grains and they elongate after cooking. But this being short grain elongates to that size. And the aroma is definitely very good. And so that in this area, in Rampur, it was called this was specially used for khichdi and for kheer.
And the taste is really different, very different from the normal.
Different. Delicious, we call it.
Yes, definitely. So we also sent a sample to the University of Sheffield, and we tested the seed, and it got, of course, it was the original seed. It was certified as the original seed. And we are also growing it there in the University of Sheffield lab, special lab, they are growing it. So have you again grown this variety? Since we had some seeds.
Yes. We kept some seed with us. And this year again, I have grown some Tilak Chandan for ourselves and for friends, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's growing. It's in the field. It will be harvested in a month and a half, say. And this year also we are looking forward for a good yield.
Yes, that's wonderful. There was one more thing I remember you talking about, that when it is being polished, it also has some issues, It gets cracked or something.
Yes.
Something like that, I remember.
Yes, the grains get damaged in the while polishing because we have it in small quantities. We get it done on very crude machines which are at a smaller scale. Local machines because of the quantity. So if we have larger quantities, then in good shellers where they have good polishing machines and the Sawtech machines, the quality can be better and the yield can be better from paddy to rice. But because the quantities are less, we have no other option than to go to a local machine which gets the husks off.
Right. There's one other variety that is spoken about, and that is the Hansraj. And Hansraj is one variety that is used for pulaus, etc. in this region. So, can you speak to us about how we are now trying to go to resurrection of that variety?
Yes, yes. This is a very traditional basmati variety which used to grow in this area, but somehow again, because of the new hybrid varieties, we have lost it. And but still, few people have it. And this year, I have talked to few of my fellow farmers who will be providing me with the seed. And if we get it, we certainly will be growing it next year. This is a very good variety for pulao and even for any rice to be eaten with vegetables and
Vegetable rice.
yes, yes, because it has a very good aroma.
They always say that when we used to cook this, and the whole mohalla knew that we are cooking pulao.
Exactly.
ये tradition, ये अक्सर people keep saying this thing. Now, if we go back to Tilak Chandan again, can you speak about the kind of bug infestation that we faced, and what were the different pesticides that you had to? Of course, we couldn't do it without pesticides for the reason that there's so many pesticides.
Yes. Yeah. Just because it has to grow out of season because there are no other farmers growing this crop. So this has to be planted before the general rice is planted and harvested after the general paddy is harvested. So before that and after that, there is pest infestation for which we have to take care. And so we have to use some insecticides so that any insect infestation doesn't happen. And also because it's in the middle of the rainy season, there is always a attack of fungus because it's a tall crop and growing in humid season, it is always attacked by a fungal disease. So there are many fungicides which are preventive. So we spray it with a good fungicide. One of them is Adexer we used last year, and along with the insecticide which takes control of the small tiny pests which affect the crop, and then the crop grows well, and we got a good crop last year.
Yes. Another thing, since we are speaking about discontinuation, it often is said that when a crop is in use and cross-pollination keeps happening, then they automatically develop a resistance to disease. Does that happen also?
It may develop, but again, when we keep it organic, in that cycle, we can grow it organically because then the predator cycle is there. It's developed in an organic field. So the pests are taken care of the year round. And for fungicides, we can do with biofungicides. So it can be grown organically if done at a larger scale. So it can grow well, yes.
So many heritage varieties we have all over India. What should be done to preserve these heritage varieties? What would you suggest that we should do? Because we are clearly losing out on a lot of taste.
I would say exactly what you are doing should be done, because people should come to know how rich our traditional crops have been and how rich our cuisine have been. So if people don't lose on this and keep all the taste buds ready for having those traditional and old cuisines, we can keep these varieties also, because in those cuisines we need it. So when we need it, the demand will be there, and people like me will be growing it. It's a long story. We searched it well all over the area and couldn't find it. Though we had it about 10, 12 years ago, many people in the Tarai region had it, and we used to eat this basmati. But now that we wanted it again, nobody had it in this area. So I asked people in Punjab and in Haryana, and then ultimately found it in a very remote village in Jammu, which was named as Chakrui. A friend of mine has a relative there who had.
Okay.
So we got it from them. Only a few, 3-4 kgs of it.
And we are trying to grow it again.
And now we are growing.
And it was very common. I remember we used to eat it.
Yes, it was like
normal.
About 20
Right.
years ago, we all had basmati.
It was Hansraj.
And even Taraudi basmati, or in some areas, it was called Pakistani basmati. But this Hansraj variety is a small grain basmati. And in Jammu, they call it Choti basmati.
Okay. So what is the right time to sow it, transplant it?
We transplant this Hansraj in mid-July so that we can harvest it in the onset of winters when the temperature gets low. So we have some good fragrance in it.
Okay, so that is very important. But the cycle is longer.
It's a long duration variety. Okay.
So now we have it. Let's hope that we can keep the seed.
We sure get a good yield and keep the seed for further use.
Okay, and then you have to return the seed also. That is also an agreement.
Yeah, we usually do. But because it's a very far off place. But yes, we'll retain it, and if they need it anytime, we will.
Oh, okay. This is a thing, sort of a word of honor.
Word of honor. Always, when we take seed from anybody, we return it in double the quantity.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much and all the best.
Right, thank you.